This Discord server, known as Runestone Hunters, are basically breaking down any hints they have been given to reveal any hidden information that Jagex didn't exactly make public. So far, they've deciphered 3 clues showing us what some of the invocations will look like. To begin with, the amount of effort and work they put into these is actually pretty impressive to find the hidden invocations. Like, for example, take a look at this blog post that they are working on and documenting everything they have done so far.
Okay, now look, my last video got 15,000 views and I didn't get that many subscribers. Come on now, just click the buttons right there. Click it. It's right here. Just one click. Make it gray. And turn on the bell for notifications. Thank you.
So let's take a look at this one, for example. This clue is basically a logo of the Hardcore Iron Man, but it's a little bit shuffled, and what seems to be a drink at the bottom. I don't even know what this is. Oh, apparently it's a lizard kicker. Did not even know it was an item. Anyway, according to them, they said that they felt like it had to be related to the Hardcore Iron Man mode blog post, which was made on the 10th of November 2016. And for some reason, when you click on the image, then you get this clue. Further breaking it down, you'll get something that is related to the Roman numerical numbers. And if you figure out that the number is 3999, you can go to this link, which is osrs.game/3999, and you get one of the invocations, which is pretty much confirmed by Jagex. This is actually one of the invocations that is given to us within the raid. So a lot of the speculations I mentioned in my previous video were pretty much almost accurate, except it's not exactly on which icon I mentioned it on, but it is, however, mentioned within the raid. So we have Walk the Path. As I said earlier, it would be leveling up the raid's difficulty, but I didn't know that it was actually going to be as per path you take. So every room that you go in, the first room, for example, will be level 0, next room will be level 5, and so on. This is actually an example. I'm not giving you the actual levels, but it's just giving you an example of how the levels are going to work. As for the actual amount of lives you have between each raid that you do, I am pretty certain that you have from 10 and all the way to 1. So the first invocation, which is the easiest one, is 10 lives, and all the way to the hardest one, which is 1. Jagex has also released and revealed a lot within the Tombs of Amascut, which we can derive very useful information from. The invocations are already mentioned in there, but I'll compile them in one image, which you can see on the screen right now, for you to read out and see what they do for yourself. Going over the newer mechanics, we have Baba shooting balls of shit towards you and Kefri's minions basically shooting you with magic and range at the same time. The magic attack, I'm assuming, occurs after the yellow circles complete the square, which you can see right now. And to be fair, I don't think you want to be in full melee armor. I think you're gonna need... I think Carol's would be very beneficial here, although it's not, you know, high-end gear. But if you want to protect against something and not worry about damage from the other, I think Carol's would be really decent over here. Now, I did mention in the previous video that Akka does have 4 phases. However, you will have to deal with them in a separate manner. With his shadows, you'll have to deal melee damage to them, while the orange phase using magic. Now, you can tell when each phase begins by looking in the chat box right here to know when to switch your gear and even your prayer from protect from melee to protect from magic. We knew that you can choose which path to go through first, but they didn't exactly mention why it was important to choose wisely on which one to go for first, and then finishing up with whichever rooms are left. This is because with one of the invocations I mentioned earlier, the next room will scale in levels and difficulty. And with that, you would want to get the most obnoxious rooms out of the way at the beginning as quick as possible, then going all the way over to the quote-unquote easier ones. And my prediction for the difficulty of the rooms are as follows. Akka being the easiest room to clear, Baba being the second, Zebak being the third, and Kefri being the hardest room to clear, simply because of the mechanics you can see in these clips, where your team can be separated and have to use other means of dealing damage, which wouldn't exactly be as useful, and you'd be limited to move in a certain space because of the fires that are segregating you from your team. So my assumption here is basically Kefri should be the first room to clear, and I mean, seriously, just look in the back. You see the ghosts right there? Those are basically the dead playtesters. So you might as well knock it out first.